JPMorgan plans to acquire $1 billion worth of single-family rentals. Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Garland, NMLS number 58700, better known as MG the Mortgage Guy. And today, I got my special guest with me,
Hi, Matt.
my super producer, Emmy-nominated producer.
No MLS number, though.
No NMLS number or MLS number, but Emmy nominations.
That's fair.
We got Jordana in the building with us
Hey,
today.
y'all.
So make sure y'all show some Jordana some love. We'll put her IG in the description so y'all can follow her too. We got Lovely Boy Productions on the ones and twos, aka Tukes. So welcome back to the channel. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe, share with all your friends, and also make sure you guys tap in with Rants and Gems on audio and on Earn Your Leisure's channel. All right, so let's get down to business. We're talking about JPMorgan Chase JPMorgan is looking to buy $1 billion in rentals. Let's go to the article. Shout out to The Real Deal for putting this article out. And, we're going to put the article in the description so you can read it for yourself. But they are partnering, JPMorgan Chase is partnering with Haven Realty Capital on this joint venture. And they plan to acquire and develop $1 billion worth of build-to-rent communities across the country. And they are set to deploy $415 million in equity into this venture. Right, they're targeting home builders in the Sun Belt, and the partners will look at communities of 50 to 200 homes, and these homes will span from 1,500 to 2,500 square feet. They are already in contract with 3 communities totaling 250 homes, and they plan on closing on those deals within the next 3 months. Jordana?
I mean, that's crazy, but I guess this wasn't like the first time that JP Morgan has played in this space before, because 2 years ago, the bank's assets management arm increased its investment in American Homes for Rent from $250 million to $625 million, only months after the partnership was formed. So, my question's for you.
Okay.
When people say, is it
and
the
we're
right...
going to put this article in the description again, by the way.
So they can read it?
Yeah, so you can take the article off the screen now, Tooks.
So when people say, it's not the best time to buy,
Oh, my God.
I have to always speak from, a regular Rants and Gems listener, right?
Okay.
And then I'm hearing the big boys doing this. What's your hot take on that?
My hot take is don't wait to buy real estate and wait, like I've always been saying, right? You got to, when there's blood in the streets, people will be scared. They will be fearful.
Mm-hmm.
But Warren Buffett said when people are fearful, be greedy, right? And it's very important. There's a lot of fear-mongering. And look, and I've been speaking about this probably for the past 6 to 8 months now on Rants and Gems, on IG, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, at live shows, the whole 9 yards. Don't let the fear-mongering stop you.
Mm-hmm.
Just because interest rates went up, just because there's a looming recession, which many folks think we are already in a recession regardless, that doesn't mean you're going to stop buying real estate, because real estate will be bought and sold to the end of time. There's 1 thing for sure and 2 things for certain. People need a place to live, unless you want to be homeless. And last time I checked, no one wants to be homeless. You know what I'm saying? So my hot take on this is investors are going to invest. Real estate is one of the best hedges against inflation. It comes with loads of tax benefits, and it gives you a return on your investment. So instead of you having they could have kept this $415 million in their accounts.
Mm-hmm.
This is JP Morgan. This is the #1 bank probably in the world, right? And if they're looking to buy real estate, my question to all of you watching this or listening to this, why are you not looking to buy real estate? And what they're doing, and this is not something new from institutional investors, they've always invested into real estate. But now if you look at the trend over the past 2 years, especially since the pandemic started, they are looking to turn America into renters.
Yeah. So I lived in Austin, Texas for a bit when I was working on this other show. And I never, as a New
They
York...
shall remain nameless, by the way.
Yes.
That show.
I'm working here. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
So as a New Yorker, I'm always used to buildings. But in some of these other like down south states, like you drive into these communities and all the houses look the same. Is that what they're talking about? Like the bill for rent? Like
Yeah, yeah, it's like a community.
yeah, so it's
Yeah,
just like single family homes. So basically,
it's like they call them PUDs, planned unit developments.
got it.
So it's these big communities, and all the houses look the same. You may have different color schemes and
Right.
everything like that on how, but they all built basically the same.
So isn't that kind of messed up?
Messed up that they're trying to make people renters.
Yeah, I mean, because that's not
No.
the.
It's not. It's
Okay.
not. Why is it messed up?
I mean, because at that point you're providing this house, right? The
Mhm.
allure of the American dream. I'm just talking from an outsider, not an
Okay.
investor, not, so if I see the picket white fence and the, yard and all that, it looks like a home. It doesn't.
It
when
is
I-
a home.
Yeah, but when I think about renting, I think about renting an apartment.
Well,
I
because
just,
you think in New York.
yeah, I just still think, you're telling people, hey, this is a piece of the American dream. That's what I look at it at. And it's not. They're literally going to be renting it.
No, it's my American dream. you're gonna pay for it. Landlords are always gonna win.
Got it.
Period. Point blank. There's always gonna be more renters than homeowners.
So that's what it seems like America's going to right now.
Hell yeah. And this is something I've been saying for the past 2 years. When that money got cheap, 2020,
Mm-hmm.
I told everybody go out and buy real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're looking to buy primary or an investment property. Institutional money flooded the real estate market and drove up prices.
Mm-hmm.
And look what they're doing now. They're not looking to flip. Think about the iBuy situation where like a lot of these companies were iBuying to flip homes,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of it failed.
Mm-hmm.
And they still have their inventory, these thousands of homes. So what are they going to do? They're going to rent them out. Like even if you look at the builders who started building 6 months ago, a year ago, whatever the case may be, the market went up. The home buyers can't qualify.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're still going to now turn them into rentals.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably sell them eventually at some point in time when it's more advantageous
For us,
to
right.
sell them,
Yeah.
right? So that's the beautiful thing about owning real estate. And this is why I try to even if you're buying a single-family home for your primary residence, it doesn't matter what's happening in the market. If you can't afford it, you can always rent it out.
Worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario. And equity is up right now. Although home values are decelerating, doesn't mean it's crashing. This is what I keep trying to tell people also. But you can always sell your house too at the same time if you run into trouble. Especially most Americans right now have a boatload of equity still.
Mm-hmm.
But what are they going to do if they're in trouble? They're going to go rent.
Now, question for you. So even though the house market, like the home prices are kind of going down, they're still up from
They're still up.
pre-pandemic, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So home prices are still up depending on where you're at, 7 to 25%. Miami's up 25%
Right.
year over year in home values.
Right.
Right? So, yeah, some places, like big tech places, and we spoke about this on Rants and Gems, where
Mhm.
big tech is firing and laying off. So if you have places like Seattle, San Fran, things of that nature, yeah, you might see it's not 30% increase no more, but it might be 10.
It's still 10.
It's still 10.
Right.
It's still appreciation.
Right.
And that's the crazy thing when I see all this clickbait-ish on the internet. I'm like, but it's still up. Real estate normally, over the past 60 years, a home has averaged 4.5% appreciation annually.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go from 4.5% on average over the past 60 years to 30%, that's not normal. And I think life didn't exist to some people prior to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing, whatever happened prior to COVID, it didn't matter, right? But now you see what the big boys are doing. They're saying, yo, we'll just be landlords. Because now we know you can't afford this.
Mm.
Inflation is high. Everything is high. You can't buy it. So you know what? You're going to rent these nice homes. And it's still, look, you got to live somewhere.
So basically, they're saying either get down or lay down.
Basically.
Okay.
Get down or lay down.
All right.
I like the way that sounds. Get down or lay down. Because it's either you're going to go buy something or you're going to go rent. Or you're
Got
going to
it.
go live with someone or you're going to be homeless. These are the only 4 options you have for shelter.
Now, you guys, I've been trying to tell Matt that he needs to check TikTok every day. He hates when I'm always sending him TikToks and articles. Like, if it's not like a regular article, he's like, what is this? He doesn't like TikTok. But TikTok, I went down a rabbit hole, and then I started following some other people.
You
And
went down the TikTok rabbit holes.
but this was real estate based. Everything I do is for Ransom Gems and Matthew Garland.
Okay. Okay.
I don't end up on like the Chinese side of TikTok like him. But
I don't know how I'm still there to this day. But anyway, that's another story.
But did you know that U-Haul, U-Haul, the moving truck company, they published all their data every year to show you where the trucks that like went from one state to another state. And they call it like the migration trends, right? So you could actually go on, this is all public. And I guess what JPMorgan is doing is following the data, right? Because the top, like let's just say 10 states here, I'm on, and we'll put this probably too.
So what's the top 10 states that people are migrating to, Jordana?
Tennessee, Sunbelt, Texas, Sunbelt, Florida, okay? Then we have Ohio. Shout out to Beyond Win.
Shout out to Beyond.
Arizona, Colorado, Missouri, Nevada, North Carolina, and of course, Wakanda, right? Georgia. So those are a lot of warm states. Like, what do you think that's about?
Yeah, I mean,
people just want better weather.
Better weather. Think about it. Work from home has increased, what we say, 27% in the past 2 years. So, and it's affordable in those states compared to high costs like Northeast or certain parts of Cali. It's too expensive. So with work from home, hell, if I can't afford to buy $1 million single family in New York, and I can work from home, and I can go move to Florida and spend $600,000 and have 4,000 square feet, what am I going to do if I don't have to be here? And I really don't want to be in New York. You're going to move, right? So what investors are doing, they're always going to follow the trends. And this is what I try to tell our people is you got to do the research and the data digging for yourself. And these are great. And we'll put this link in the description as well so you guys can have access to this migration report directly from U-Haul, probably the largest move-in rental company.
Right, I think so, right?
Like that's out there. I don't even know any other rental truck company bigger than U-Haul. So the data has to definitely be accurate, right? But you have to follow the trends. And look what the big boys are doing. Now, if the big boys came out and said, we're not buying real estate, then I will be nervous and I will worry, right? But while you guys are going to sit on a sideline and waiting for a real estate crash, waiting for a recession, waiting for God knows what else you're waiting for, right? COVID-25. I don't know what you're waiting for, right? Investors are going to continue to invest. So my call to action for everybody who's going to watch and listen to this is don't wait to buy real estate and rate.
Well, I
Period.
mean, Matt always talks crap about New York, so
I love New York.
You're a New
What are you
Yorker.
talking about?
You're
I'm
a New Yorker, but
I don't talk. First of all, I don't disrespect my city. I actually defend my city when people try to say New York is dead. Come on, Jordana.
Anyway, he likes Wakanda now lately. I think he been
I
hanging around.
love
He been hanging
Wakanda.
around Kiana too much.
Shout out to Kiana, but I love Wakanda.
And it's just like, oh well, I will say this though. I think just me looking from the outside in, yeah, the Sun Belt is all cool, but where are the jobs at?
They working from home.
But you look at what Elon is doing. Eventually,
well, Elon's just a nut in himself.
Okay.
Like no one else is going to do that. No one's going to say, basically, if you don't like working here, everybody can leave. Only Elon can do that. You think Jamie Dimon going to do that?
What I'm saying is that there's been a push.
Elon different.
There's been a push for employers because of the quiet quitting that, Kiana mentioned in the Ransom Gems episode about employers saying, hey, listen, it was cute and all, but you got to bring yourself back to work. So, yeah, I just feel like, yeah, the Sun Belt is great and all warm weather, but just be mindful of the jobs too,
I think you got to definitely take that into consideration, and that's definitely a good point to bring up because at some point, some employers will try to force your hand.
Right.
But honestly, I think a lot of employers are going to continue to go with the work from home because now you get rid of the big overhead of having a brick and mortar.
You definitely do.
So it can go both ways.
You definitely do. But I know 2 people in my circle already. Like they bought a house around the, the pandemic, as you like to say.
Yes.
They moved out to Jersey. They had I got the big yard. I got this. I got that. I'm never going back to work in the city. And yeah, they're slowly being like, hey, you got to come in, maybe 3 times a week. You know what I'm saying? So the commute is not looking so easy right now because you thought you never had to come in. So I just think that people have to be mindful when they say work from home because I know for certain companies like Google, for instance, if you work, let's say you're in San Fran in Google, and you try to take your money out to Boise, Idaho, they're gonna say no. It's location based pay. They're being like, okay, well, you want to move over there? That's fine, but we're not gonna pay you the San Fran money. We're gonna pay you. So I just think that people just have to be mindful about what your company's doing, your work from home balance. Like if you cannot realistically get, how you gonna explain to your boss you work in New York that you in Miami?
I get it.
Having a pina colada.
Yeah.
At the Mondrian.
I get it though, but again, people are still going to flock to these states regardless right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Regardless, because people are just like, all right, I'll just get another job and figure it out, because it's still going to be, even if I make less, it's going to be cheaper to live in these states.
That's a good point, yeah.
Right? So now if you look at institutional investors, they're looking at all of this data too, just like we're discussing. And they're seeing what all the people are moving from, and they know they can't afford with this 7%, 6%, 8% rates. It's just not going to be affordable. So now it's more advantageous for investors to do, like, think about it, build to rent communities. So these guys are going to build brand new homes, and people love a brand new house, right? People want that new construction, the new granite, the new marbles and the quartz. They want all that the amenities of central air, all this good stuff. 1,500 to 2,500 square feet. Think about it. That's a nice size house. Is it a huge house? No.
It's decent. No.
It's a decent size house, right? But that's a certain demographic of people now too. You're probably talking about very middle class borrowers that they're targeting the middle class with that square footage range, and those prices on rent are probably going to be, in those areas, $2,000 to $3,500 for renting a whole house in those areas. I'm going to assume, we don't know the numbers or nothing, but if you talk about Atlanta, they got 250 homes they're about to close on. Yeah, it's probably going to be under $3,500.
Right.
For this property. So that's that middle class worker, and that's what these institutional investors are trying to do. They're trying to create and keep the middle classing and keeping you as tenants. And that's why we are ownership advocates over here.
Right.
And this is why, even for our investors, we got to start thinking outside the box too, and start thinking how the big boys are thinking and what they're doing. So, multifamilies, look, we talk about multifamily investing all the time, house hacking and things of that nature. But I even said this like a year ago, we have to start now building and developing our own communities too, because that build to rent ain't going nowhere, and it's going to generate good cash flow for you too.
So are you basically saying that it's, if you're a middle class American right now, it's going to be harder to climb out of that, basically, is what you're kind of implying?
Depends on the person and their mentality, right? Some people are stuck in comfort, and like they get a brand new construction, they rent it, it's beautiful, and they might be cool with that and content with that, because not everybody wants to be a homeowner. Let's just call a spade a spade.
That is very true.
You need a close up on that one, Jordana?
No, I'm just saying. It is very true.
Home ownership is the gift and the curse.
It's ghetto.
Oh shit! She said it's ghetto. But so some people might be comfortable, but I would implore anybody, if you're going to rent anything, you should have an exit strategy on how do I now become the owner. And if you are going to rent, doesn't mean you can't invest too as a renter. So even if you say, you know what, I'm going to rent where I live and I'm going to invest, fine, do it. Especially black and brown people. Just buy some shit. You know what I'm saying? Own it.
You need to put that on a shirt.
No, that's Aisha Sheldon.
Oh,
Shout out to Aisha. I steal her thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, you need to put that on a shirt.
That's her thing. Own some ish, right? She need to put that on the merch. But that's my belief is, right, if you are going to renting serves a purpose for a person, right? Not everybody just has money, so you need a place to live. So I don't think renting is throwing money down the drain like a lot of professionals in my world will try to say sometimes, like, yo, it's throwing down the drain. No, you need the place to live. Where you going to go? You going to be homeless? You know what I'm saying? So while you're there, make the best use of your time there. Treat the house like it's your own, like you own it. So that way you're accustomed to being in the home ownership mode, right? Save your money. Keep your expenses low. And if you want to buy your own house, great. go have a plan. 2 years, 3 years, however long it takes you to save X, Y, and Z amount of money. And if not, then invest your money. And if you can't invest your money in a state that you live in, invest in smaller areas like the Milwaukees and things like that, and start building up some cash flow and some capital so you have more income. So when you're ready to buy your primary residence, you can qualify for it and you're not settling.
Right.
So, long story short, JP Morgan is showing you guys what I've been trying to tell you. It don't matter what the market is doing right now. It doesn't matter if it's a deceleration. It doesn't matter if interest rates are 7%. Investors are going to invest. And you should too.
Bars.
We all should invest. Like, period, point blank. Why are we going to stop? Cash flow is king.
Yeah.
You know how much cash flow they're probably going to get from $1 billion worth of real estate? And then when the rates go lower, you know what they're going to do? Refinance them and then make more cash flow.
This should be illegal.
Why?
It's just like, the fact that, and that's why I think, everybody appreciates what you do as far as the education, because this is not common knowledge, like what the big boys are doing. It's a lot of gatekeeping, especially you could speak as a minority in the real estate space. I don't feel like if you're not listening to EYL, listening to Rants and Gems, like, who's going to educate you?
Agreed.
So I just find it wild, because if you ask the regular person, like, oh, yeah, the real estate market is dead, I'm not investing, the people, the Kappas, like, all right, I'm not going to buy right now because interest rates. But then this article is just fascinating because everybody knows JP Morgan.
They're the biggest bank out there. Not everybody has $415 million laying around. You know what I'm saying? Like, but ultimately they're showing you, all right, we're going to take this capital. We're going to do a joint venture.
Right.
So we're going to collaborate.
Right.
And we're going to follow a trend. People can't afford it. First-time home buyers are getting boxed out of the market because of inflation and high interest rates. So, and rents are continuing to rise. Although they slowed down, the rent acceleration has slowed down a bit, but it's still nationally over $2,000 a month, right? So let's take advantage of this opportunity that's in front of us by deploying our capital to get a nice return on that investment and hold these properties until it's advantageous for us to start selling them, or probably never sell them, or sell them to another institutional investor, right, who can buy the whole portfolio, and we make that equity play right there. But in the same time, we get this cash flow, and our investors who invest into our funds are going to get handsome returns. We got to follow the same plays.
Yeah.
It's right in our face.
If they're betting big, we should be betting big.
Why the hell are we not betting big? Why are we letting fear stop us from doing exactly what these folks are doing, but just at the level of wherever you are financially, right? Because we all have the ability and the access in the same 24 hours and the access to information to do the same exact thing. So my message for this video is, if the big boys are doing it, then why are you not doing it? I think I'm done with this topic. Jordana?
Done.
You have anything else you want to add to this?
No, I agree. Bet big.
Bet big. All right. That's all we got for you. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And what are your comments? Are you going to invest? You see what the big boys are doing. Are you still going to stay on the sideline? Are you going to invest? Are you going to buy your primary residence? Sound off in the comments. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. This is Matt Garland, NMLS number 58700, but better known as MG the Mortgage Guy. Peace.